The flickering light of a candle dimly illuminates a room in the Vatican basement. An inhuman cry pierces the silence of the Roman night. Father Gabriele Amorth, with the crucifix clutched in his hands, finds himself face to face with a demonstration that defies all earthly logic. What I am about to tell you is not a fictional story, but a first-hand account of events that shook the very foundations of the Vatican. Through the eyes and experiences of Father Gabriele Amorth, a historic exorcist of the Diocese of Rome, a truth will emerge that many would prefer to ignore. In the heart of the Catholic Church, even within the sacred walls of the Vatican, an invisible but constant battle is fought against the forces of evil. This spiritual war, which has been going on for millennia, has seen an intensification of clashes in recent decades, as evidenced by the numerous cases documented by Father Amorth in his 50 years of ministry as an exorcist. The presence of evil within the Vatican walls should not surprise us. As Father Amorth often explained, the evil one tries to infiltrate the most sacred places, attempting to corrupt the very heart of the Church from within. This daily battle requires constant vigilance and unshakable faith. During one of his most intense exorcisms, Father Amorth witnessed a disconcerting revelation. The evil one, speaking through the possessed person, expressed a visceral hatred towards Pope John Paul II and Poland. "He destroyed my plans," were the angry words that resounded in the exorcism room. But why Poland? The answer lies in the extraordinary devotion of the Polish people to the Virgin Mary. This episode was not an isolated one. On numerous other occasions during exorcisms, the devil manifested a particular aversion towards everything that concerned Poland and its people. This nation, through centuries of trials and persecutions, has maintained a faith so steadfast that it has become a veritable thorn in the side of the forces of evil. The Madonna, as Father Amorth has repeatedly testified, represents an insurmountable bulwark against the forces of evil. Her intercession during exorcisms has often proved decisive, and her very name makes evil spirits tremble. Poland, with its deep Marian devotion, has thus become a living symbol of spiritual resistance. The Polish people's Marian devotion is not limited to simple prayers or rituals. It is a faith lived daily, passed down from generation to generation, which permeates every aspect of social and family life. Polish Marian shrines, first and foremost the one in Częstochowa, are vibrant centers of spirituality that attract millions of pilgrims every year. Father Amorth often told how, during the most difficult exorcisms, the simple invocation of the Black Madonna of Częstochowa provoked violent reactions in the possessed. This fact, according to the expert exorcist, was a further confirmation of the special power that the Virgin Mary exercises through the devotion of the Polish people. Let us stop for a moment and address this prayer together to the Virgin Mary. O Mary, Queen of Poland and Mother of the Church, you who have protected your people throughout the centuries, continue to watch over us and intercede with your Son. Protect our families from evil and keep our faith strong. Amen. Let us reflect together. How important is it today to keep faith alive in an increasingly secularized world? If this testimony has touched your heart, write Amen in the comments to join spiritually with our prayer community. Father Amorth's revelations show us how the devil has repeatedly attempted to corrupt Polish youth, considering them a priority target for weakening the country's faith. These attacks intensified especially during the time of communism, when materialistic forces sought to eradicate faith from the hearts of the Polish people. But precisely in those moments of greatest difficulty, Marian devotion proved stronger than ever. The churches remained full, pilgrimages continued despite the bans, and faith was silently transmitted in homes, where families gathered to pray the rosary. The election of Karol Wojtyła to the papal throne represented a turning point. The devil, as revealed during exorcisms, saw in John Paul II a particular threat precisely because of his Polish roots and his deep Marian devotion. The Polish Pope, in fact, had consecrated his pontificate to Our Lady with the motto Totus Tuus, completely yours. During exorcisms, Father Amorth was able to observe how the mere mention of Poland provoked violent reactions in the possessed. This country, through its history of suffering and resistance, has developed a spiritual armor that evil cannot penetrate. Devotion to Our Lady of Częstochowa, in particular, represents a point of reference for the faithful throughout the world. Spiritual attacks on Poland were not limited to the communist period. Even today, in the age of secularization and moral relativism, the forces of evil seek to undermine the faith of the Polish people. However, as the numerous cases documented by Father Amorth testify, these attempts continue to crash against the wall of Marian devotion. A particularly significant aspect that emerged during exorcisms is the fear that the devil shows towards prayers in the Polish language. Father Amorth noted how the use of traditional Polish prayers, especially those dedicated to the Madonna, often provoked particularly violent reactions in those possessed. Father Amorth's testimony reminds us that the spiritual battle knows no truce. Every day, in every corner of the world, an invisible war is fought for souls. But Poland, with its unshakable Marian faith, continues to be a beacon of hope and an example of how sincere devotion can defeat even the darkest forces. The revelations that emerged during Father Amorth's exorcisms are not only testimonies of extraordinary events, but represent a warning for all of us. In an age when faith is often ridiculed or considered superfluous, these events remind us of the importance of keeping the flame of spirituality alive. The strength of the Polish faith is also manifested in the ability to transmit these values to new generations. Despite the evil one's attempts to corrupt young people through materialism and hedonism, many young Poles maintain a deep and living faith, actively participating in the life of the Church. Father Amorth often emphasized how this ability to pass on the faith was particularly hated by the devil. During the exorcisms, the frustration of the forces of evil was clearly evident as they saw how, generation after generation, the Polish people maintained their Marian devotion. The legacy of St. John Paul II, so hated by the devil, continues to live in the hearts of the Polish people and all the faithful. Her Marian devotion, her unshakable faith, and her courage in confronting the forces of evil are a shining example for future generations. If you want to learn more about these topics and receive regular spiritual content that will help you on your journey of faith, subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the subscribe button and activate the bell so you don't miss our next videos. Always remember that faith, especially that directed to the Virgin Mary, is the most powerful weapon against evil. As Father Amorth taught us, no dark force can prevail against those who sincerely entrust themselves to the protection of the Mother of God. Poland remains a living example of this truth, a beacon of hope for all believers who fight the good fight of faith.